Okay. Any particular questions before I take a look?
No, just I'm finished with the abstract introduction and conclusion. Let's try all your suggestions and both aspects.
All right. So the application of cognitive strategies to assess reading. ¿Estás conectado, verdad?
Oh, sí.
Ah, okay.
¿Me desconecto?
No. In the conclusion, I probably went one paragraph.
Okay.
Yeah, and
I did it too, right?
Yeah, actually 3.
Same time because you said that when one was say that we review
I see.
the findings and the feature.
So you can include all. Yeah, one paragraph, I think. All right, so let's take a look here. Okay, so this first paragraph. ¿Tienes la hoja de the piece of paper that showed you the different options? Option 1, option 2 about how to develop the results of discussion? No. Where I talked about the meal plan?
I don't have right here.
So remember, we have like 2 options here to develop paragraphs. We have the topic sentence. I think I have to start my notes. Yeah. Remember, we talked about these 2 options here. So we have topic sentence, evidence, link, and then the next paragraph, topic sentence, and analyze. Remember that? Or you can use option 2, topic sentence, evidence, analyze, evidence, or include in one paragraph both the evidence and the analyze. Now, when I say evidence and analyze, evidence, I mean results, right? Analyze, I'm talking about discussion. So the idea here is that regardless of the type of option, option 1 or option 2, we have different types of evidence. There's one topic, there are different types of evidence. Same way with this option. There's a topic sentence with different types of evidence. There's different types of evidence. There's going to be interviews, observations, questions. We want to try to triangulate the information. So the first thing I notice in this first paragraph is it looks like you have evidence here, which is good. Okay. But the rest of the paragraph seems to be a discussion.
Until the period because then through different
observations, the teacher's assessment was intended to help when they got doubts. Okay, but this for me is still more like a discussion. What's an analysis, like based on what? What did you observe that led you to believe what the intention was? Because it was intended is an interpretation. What did you observe? And include those observations. Or what did the teacher say or the student say, like your quotes? Okay, so here it seems
Be more specific.
be more specific and
Uh-huh.
add more
Okay.
results and be more specific. So in this case, you wanted to mix both evidence and image, right? Okay.
Evidence and-
Same way with this?
Actually, there is the same pattern for the whole.
Okay. You saw how the cognitive strategies, how the teachers use cognitive strategies to assess reading. For example, be specific. You just talk about all of those strategies, but just bring in an interesting example. You say, "Wow, that was interesting," or something was interesting that you want to present there. When texts were hard to understand, teachers elicited students to see images. Okay, you write like a direct quote, like what did the teacher say? Now, the first time you use, are you going to use pseudonyms? The first time that you use pseudonyms, make sure you put it in parentheses.
I did in the.
Okay, so here, then don't say teacher.
Okay, just
Check your whole work, all of your work. Now, Allison says this. Allison says this. She assesses. She. Who is she?
The one that I.
This is a direct quote, no?
Yes.
So she's not going to say she.
In this case, what?
She says, well, I don't know, ¿no? ¿Qué dijo? ¿Qué palabra? I assess.
Okay.
And it's really not necessary to, I mean, you can just say, Allison mentioned. I mean, it's, yeah. Hola. Ah, ok. ¿Quieres dejarlo o...?
Sí, nada más que, bueno, no me ha pasado traerlo, no sé si tenga problemas con la fecha. O sea, este día terminé, es el reporte final.
Ah, ok. ¿Cuántas horas tienes con este?
Tengo 300 y voy a hacer otras 200 en
otro
lado.
proyecto. Ah, ok. No, sí, estamos
bien?
en tiempo, ¿verdad? Que no pasen 3 meses.
Ah, ok. Y para lo de la inscripción del
con
otro.
Ajá, con la hoja de la inscripción.
Ok, lo traigo una semana.
Ah, ok.
¿Sí?
Sí. Ok. Yes. So, just double check your transcript. Teacher or teachers? Oops. All right, so okay. So this is the idea here. Now, let's look at these sentences. This is evidence. This is evidence. This is evidence. And this. And you have one analyze. And then there should be a linking sentence. So if you can add, it's a little heavy on the evidence. In fact, the evidence is okay, but it's a little bit light on the discussion. Remember, to have a good balance. And so in this one paragraph, probably in another, or if you can analyze a little bit more, because you have a lot of evidence, and include more specific evidence here, and maybe a little bit more analyze here.
When I said that a teacher is mentioning something, I need to limit where does the information come from.
Well, it's not necessary to say it every time. I mean, you say it once in a while, okay, but it's not really necessary. If you say, the teacher said this, okay. The teacher said this in class, then we know that it was an observation. So it's pretty clear. Right. So I always try to use visuals. Use visual in order to students infer the meaning in some words. Use brackets to correct any grammar mistakes. If they quote, if this is a direct quote, okay, and they make a mistake with the grammar, you have to change it. So I always, now here, for example, you can say, try, and then just delete.
I didn't know if I could correct that.
But you put it in brackets the correct way. So check the rest of this and make those changes there. Now, you're mentioning here, Marlene, are you still talking about visuals?
Well,
like here you talk about the use of pictures to assist students, okay. And you talk about visuals. Okay, then on the other hand, different teachers observed, see what different strategies used. Aren't you still talking about visuals?
Well, I'm talking about what she uses to assess the comprehension, but she mentioned.
But you're getting ready to compare Marlene, right? That's you're going to compare Marlene with Allison, right? If you talked about visuals here, then you're going to be talking about visuals here. So I would say something about visuals.
But of course, if she uses another different strategy, I can add the information.
Well, okay. But she said she started visuals here.
Yeah, because it's the same topic from the other teacher. The same situation.
But she's not. Let's see. This result is. Okay, it's okay here because you're doing it. Let's see.
Mm-hmm. You told me that I have to distinguish between how I provide the observations.
Students, answer my questions. That is.
Do I have to write a specific date then from the?
Yeah.
Because I just put F for
Yeah.
example. Okay.
All right. Well, I guess you can leave this, but maybe say different and similar. From observations, analysis presented. Now, what is this direct quote coming from?
From observation. Because.
But what did the teacher say? Did the teacher say this in class?
Because I don't know if you remember, I wrote first. Allison define, and you said no. Define is from review. Do you remember?
Say.
And then I changed the word by she used those strategies in the class.
But you have a direct quote.
Yes.
So did she say?
Well, in a semi-structured interview and observations as well, because she worked with these three.
No, I understand she worked with this. What I'm trying to understand is why the direct quote and what did the direct quote. This is not even a complete sentence.
No, they are just.
So the direct quote has to be meaningful, and it has to relate to the topic sentence. So did she say something about?
I need to say it a little bit more.
Yeah.
I can write the definition, right?
What's that?
I can write the definition.
No, it's not the purpose of your
Okay, I want to try
research.
to add more information.
The teacher focused on these three strategies. Can you be more specific? What did you observe? I mean, is there any patterns? Like, did they use scanning first, then scanning? Do they spend more time? How much time with scanning versus scanning? Algo. However, in a semi-structured interview, she added that by using scanning, mentioned cognitive strategies. Students are applying mentioned cognitive strategies for such as. All right, now you have this direct quote. Do you even need this quote up here?
What?
You have this direct quote here. Do you need this direct quote up here? Tal vez no es necesario, no sé. Tienes este quote aquí. ¿Por qué necesitas este?
I need to
Pues no sé.
organize. Okay.
Y no estoy diciendo que siempre viene primero el mejor. Tiene que presentar la evidencia en la orden que es lógico. Pero aquí, pues aquí está diciendo algo. Ahora, here, using scanning in this context, students are applying the mentioned cognitive strategies for such as, all right, so this is not the same as helping students read quickly. ¿Ves la diferencia? Aquí estás diciendo la idea principal es, están utilizando este para leer más rápido. Pero aquí esta evidencia está diciendo que está haciendo esas estrategias para pensar, pues inferring, clarifying, como maybe critical thinking.
Yeah, totally different.
It's a little bit different. So either modify this or modify this, but this,
I need to idea.
yeah. So it refers when students, voy a empezar, pues quitaré, dice que, ¿qué quieres decir ahí? Okay. Now, estás hablando de RSS, what is RCCS?
Listening comprehension strategy.
Pero no mencionaste algo aquí, RCCS, ¿verdad?
In the evidence,
¿Dónde? See how you haven't said anything about RCCS, and you don't mention RCSS in this topic. So this is kind of like out there, like no está legado. Let's check that. And maybe you want to mention RCCS. I mean, it has to be clear what it is, what's the relationship, because he says here RCCS help teachers, so the whole thing is about RCCS. So you need to mention at some point what it is. So provide evidence first. So second sentence, go right into the evidence. Always, yeah, because here, the only reason you wouldn't do that is if you were discussing. That's the only reason. Here, evidence is the second sentence. Here, evidence is the second sentence. Okay? Look at this. During the observation analysis class, I saw how the teacher worked with her pupils in the reading activities. There are no results there. Say how. How? And always ask yourself, por ejemplo, ¿cómo? ¿Qué hizo? El maestro, ¿qué hizo los alumnos? ¿Qué hicieron los alumnos? Most of the time, esta es una investigación. Entonces, most of the time, ¿qué significa? Es decir, entre 3 de 4 veces, 2 a 3 veces,
I need to be
more specific.
specific.
Are you giving an example of the reciprocal method? What is a reciprocal method?
When the teacher and the students are working together.
Okay. But is this a technical term, reciprocal method? I mean, did you talk about reciprocal method in the literature review?
Yes, I could know that.
Okay, so is there a specific method or is it just interaction? Because this makes it sound like reciprocal method como es un método, como es muy definido.
No, I use it just like a strategy.
Okay, well, so maybe use a different word. I mean, or reciprocal learning, or reciprocal teaching. Or,
method is like a strong word.
Method is method. It's a very specific way of doing things. So. And I don't see that you're using the word reciprocal. You use the word cooperative, even exchange readings, cooperative, but you don't use the word reciprocal. We have to be careful with the words here. What is it? Is it promoting cooperative learning or reciprocal? All right, so just double check that. Like this. I saw how the teacher gave the students. Okay, how did they do it? What do you mean by this? Alejandrina, is she a teacher?
It was a
student?
answer from a student.
Okay, good student.
Do I have to also word pseudonym or no?
Well, it's Alejandrina.
Because this is a real name.
I know, no real names.
No real names?
No real names,
Okay.
no real institutions.
Okay.
So always use pseudonyms.
Okay.
And in parentheses you can say student. So you might say something like pseudonym for a student. I would say. Anytime somebody says this, you have evidence, but it depends on the occasion. When you see things like this, it depends on the occasion. Try to have supporting information at some point, whether it's this paragraph or another paragraph about that, because the synodalist might ask you that. But it depends on the occasion. Okay, for example, it depends on what did the teacher say about this, or what did some other students maybe say about this. She said discussion and then analysis. She said discussion, analysis during, así, dijo así, porque es raro sí, de un guión diagonal. Discussion.
I think she tried to say by discussion analysis, but
Don't forget to include the Now you say this is because language learners try to guess meaning from visuals. Even when they do not speak at all, they infer what is happening in stories. This is your interpretation? No, it's not an example. It's because you're saying tú estás poniendo como una razón por qué este pasó y es lo que no sé como ¿estás seguro de lo que está pasando? ¿Este pasó por esta razón? ¿O alguien dijo por este pasó?
pues yo lo estoy argumentando.
So a teacher, this is a teacher, right, Marlene? All right, so Marlene says, inferring by the use of visuals and discussion analysis during the readings is the most practical way to comprehend reading activities. Okay, so that's what she says. And then you say this is because language learners try to guess meaning for the visuals.
Because taking into consideration that Marlene is a teacher in elementary school, the children learn easily, very easily when they see images or visuals, and then the teacher to analyze.
Okay, if you can include a citation to support this, or a citation to support that. Remember that we need commas here. What they So you mentioned Oxford here. What learning strategy are the students using in this paragraph?
Very, because it says the students get ideas from visuals, from images or similar work. So this way they can infer what is happening in some stories. Okay.
All right, so inferring, any other strategies in your evidence?
Can just include that one?
Well, I don't know. In your topic sentence, you mentioned questioning, analyzing, and inferring. Do you have evidence of questioning, analyzing, and inferring? Did I say?
Just including a discussion. Questioning is not.
Which one? Discussion's not mentioned, or questioning is not.
Questioning is not.
What about analyzing?
I didn't include.
See, so it looks like you're just talking about.
When it says observe in a reading activity how the teachers was reading a part of the text, and then she asked the students what they understand. This could be questioning what from that part.
Yeah, but include examples. What questions did the teacher ask? Okay. So now, learning strategies. Now here you mentioned learning strategies, but why not mention questioning and inferring are operations? Paraphrase this, but instead of talking about learning strategies, because the body paragraph talks about inferring and questioning. That's it. So here, talk about questioning and.
In this case, this evidence works as analysis. The direct quotes from because you said that this is different from the review.
Yes, it's different than the review. So citations are what?
Like this one, like the Oxford. Does it work like an analyst?
Uh-huh. Yeah. But I would probably check this and either paraphrase it or find another paraphrase or other citation. But you know. Okay. So Cuauhtemoc, this is the level of detail that I want you to look at each paragraph. Look again at the topic sentence. Look at your evidence. Make sure you have evidence before analyzing. Make sure you have a good balance between evidence and analyze. Make sure that the evidence very much directly relates and the discussion directly relate to the topic sentence. And take each paragraph, I see, in order. And you're following one pattern throughout. You can also mix the patterns too. You can, but just make sure at the end of the day you have a good balance between those two. Okay. Now make sure you have a page break here. Add a page break. Page breaks. But if you do page break, no more. No se mueve. Es por eso, si utilizan break,
¿Y cómo se agrega ese?
you put your cursor right where you want the page break and go insert page break.
Ah, okay. Lo pongo así ordenado y luego le doy page break o...
Nada más ponen el cursor donde tú quieres hacer el page break.
Okay.
Insert page break. Así que para cada uno. And check your formatting here. This is fine, but maybe move it over, you know, like an outline. A little bit over to the left. Que está alineada todo. Avoid this. I would call this coding.
Coding is also going to it's also going to be included in the final grading paper.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And
this is a level 2. Page break. So.
On Thursday, we are gonna bring our first time as well.
Yeah. Before 2 o'clock.
Just one copy or?
One copy. Right.
So I need to do one, and then can I email you or?
Well, just correct it here, and you can print it here if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can move to Word. But I would make all the changes still in here.
Okay.
Now, only the first 5 words, upper and lowercase.
Okay.
And it should be.
And the other ones in.
And it should be all the way to the left. Left justified. Okay. What else? Any other questions?
No, I just need to keep working on.
Okay. All right. So yeah, just go ahead and clean that up and try to get it to me by Thursday before 2 o'clock. I'll be here most of the day on Thursday, Wednesday and Thursday in my office.